Shalom. Give me a quick second. We're gonna get the garment on. No hats, no hoods, no caps, no scullies, no ski caps. Not a zip. Just gonna put this on. Just gonna start off real quick. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we're gonna say Kalayim La Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Harakakadash. And double honesty. Down to hear this nigga's fucking Arab bullshit all day long. I'm not in the mood to hear that shit. Alright. I'm gonna say double honesty. Elders and apostles of Great Millstone. GMS. Great Millstone. They do rule. They teach well. I mean it. When I say that, I'm not just saying that like some weird hypnosis fucking shit where it's just like a mantra that I say. I really do mean that. I follow the order. No shape ups. Right? I don't cut this. I don't shape my shit up. I let my hair grow. I let the beard grow. You know, as you can see, I don't shape up my beard or nothing. You know, if a woman commits adultery on me, I kick her ass out. You know, and if a woman's dealing with another man, I leave her alone. So, you know where I am. Remember the GMS. Today I want to talk about, Governor Captain Hochul starting to push out more and more, troops across the subways. There's supposed to be more national troops on the subways. There's more police presence on the subways. Of course, we know that there's a limited amount of police. So if you move the police in the subways, then you're going to stop the police from being someplace else. They don't have, infinite amounts of police force. They only have so much. So something definitely big is going to come to the city. Something fishy is definitely happening. I've been watching a lot of different channels. These different kind of like New York City kind of, I guess we'll call it gonzo, like ambush journalism type guys are kind of like out there, alternative news. Something in my head, something definitely is going to happen to New York City in the near future. All these things are pointing to that. All these events, all these migrants, these guys are military personnel. A lot of these guys, more than likely UN troops. Also and happen in New York City in the near future. Possible terror attack. So this is naturalnews.com. Right by 11911. New York City mobilizing 1,000 National Guard troops to patrol subways. So we know there's been all kinds of subway crime increasing as of late. I remember hearing one woman, she was pushed on the tracks by her boyfriend. I heard that there was someone who was like assaulting people on the tracks or something. So subway crime and just crime in New York City in general is increasing. When I was on my way here, I was on the subway, and they even had like a wanted poster for a guy, which was old. This guy, I think he may have stabbed someone or robbed someone. So all these things have happened. Also, if you watched the news the other day, there's been like a lot of guns and stuff being found on people across the subways to these like random searches. So something is definitely going down. So New York is bringing in 1,000 National Guard troops and state police officers in Big Apple. So, there's even more police around here too, so I'm trying to, be in my best behavior, not have all my stuff like touch this building I'm at. I'm trying not to blow the spot up. This is my favorite spot. What does this mean? I might say shuttle bus only. So maybe the spot is gonna be moving around, and they're gonna be moving shit around here or something. Well, hopefully they take away the spot as a bus stop entirely, then I can just camp here with impunity, at least until there's an event. I'm not too far from like a big kind of like a center where there's a lot of events. I'm trying not to expose where I'm at too quick, because or expose where I'm at in general, because I don't want you guys coming over here, man, you weirdo niggas, to come kill me or something, or be weird, because now you guys are on some different shit. Shot brothers in I think that might have been Indiana or something. You shot at brothers over there. Oh yeah, I think that shit is police. Maybe that's like a boy's weapon or something. I don't know. I thought I remember hearing something like that. So the job of these state police officers and National Guard troops is to dodge piles and airplanes along the city's transit system's filthy terminals to deter criminals from terrorizing passengers, right? And it really is that bad. If you say otherwise, then I don't know, man. You may not have spent, two decades here in New York City. It really is that bad. It's like piss piles and fucking, I haven't seen shit on the train yet, but I mean, there's like rats on the place where passengers get on and everything. According to Manasseh, for Ultra, 750 guardsmen and 250 state law enforcement officers will be sent to the city's busiest transit stations in an attempt to put a lid on spiraling out of control crime throughout New York City. Right, and this is on top of this stuff. They did this before too. The increased police presence. I didn't even know this was in the news. I wasn't really paying attention to the news the last couple of days. Not really, just been reading. And then I started getting to the news again like the other day. And then I saw this article and I was like, oh shit. Because I want to say it was like maybe Wednesday or Thursday. I went to go to this hiring event for this job that I want to get into. I want to have. I've always been talking about making a little extra cash, so I can support a camp if I do find a brother. I could have some extra pocket cash and things like that. Or just need it in general, because I also want to. Things to make camp run smoother. There's an umbrella attachment that I want for the tripod. But even on my way, kind of traveling across there, I saw police. So something definitely is going down in the city. I saw a lot of police on the train stations. I was like, what? Even in Queens? I was like, damn, why there's all those police around here? Especially makes sense in Queens. Queens it's pretty rough, right? So these brazen heinous attacks on our subway system will not be tolerated, the governor said, trying to sound tough. Halt's plan with these militarized troops will be to implement a 5-point plan to crack down on crime in New York City. No one heading to their job or to visit family or to go to a doctor appointment should worry that the person sitting next to them possesses a deadly weapon, Hatians said in a statement. Right? And them bringing in these immigrants only made the situation worse. These guys are in a revolving door system with the shelters. If there's like a single male, single adult, male or female, they can only stay inside the shelter for 30 days or so, and then they got to go to another building. And, they're always shuffled around these different buildings, And then we know that the shelters are all at maximum capacity. It's to the point that the government has been taking random buildings that are dilapidated, buildings that were supposed to be shelters. Supposed to be luxury apartments. They've taken these buildings and hijacked them and turned them into sites for immigrant shelters. Took these buildings, these buildings lot of them have asbestos. A lot of them are dilapidated. You know, a lot of the amenities, they had a swimming pool, it doesn't work. A lot of them have like lead issues and, you know, problems with the air quality. A lot of them don't have proper fire escapes, you know, but they're bringing in these military-age men to go live in there. You know, meanwhile, we have actual homeless in the area, you know, can't find a spot. So they shouldn't worry about whether someone's going to brandish a knife or a gun. That's what we're going to do at these checkpoints, right? And they talked about doing bag checks on the station, you know, which tell me that doesn't sound like 1984. That isn't martial law, you know, or they're preparing for martial law, you know, which, you know, that's all coming, and we're going to get into that. So it's a little bit more. There's a little bit more to this article. One wonders why Hochul is not simply deploying, you know, New York Police Department officers to do the job, seeing as how there are plenty of them ready to be able to do the job, right? Because then you have to move them from someplace else. You know, we already know there's the defund the police campaign and things like that, and it's to the point with the police. You know, a lot of people, when they get attacked, you know, on the way to work, you know, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., you know, the police aren't doing anything. You know, because the police are all pissed off about the defund the police campaign. You know, the police are all pissed off about the defund the police campaign, and they're not doing anything. You know, a lot of times there's been all kinds of robberies going on across the city. I mean, I heard there was one that happened, I want to say about 6 days ago. I think they robbed Gucci. You know, random people robbed Gucci, and the police, they didn't do anything. You know, there's no guards. You know, the police, when they do get called, they take too long to get there. You know, the response times are really bad when it comes to stores. It's to the point where they created a task force and created a group chat where the not supermarkets, where the stores can like have a direct line to the police. People are doing crimes and then getting let out right out on the street, and they come right back. You know, I was watching this one guy, I think his name was Cash Jordan. He was talking about it in his videos. You know, apparently there was one guy who robbed the grocery store 5 times. 5 times. You know, so it's definitely, you know, not looking good for New York City, right? So NYPD is fully capable of increasing its presence and flooding subway stations with officers. There's raised a possibility that the threat is more significant than just migrants potentially hitting at terrorism-related concerns. Keep in mind that just a few short days ago, the FBI released information about what it claims as a rogue Iranian intelligence officer who was allegedly planning an assassination attempt on both former and current U.S. government officials, of the which Hochul is one. Is Hochul doing all this to protect her own hide from a possible attack? Right? Another possibility is that another 9/11 style terrorist attack could be in the works. This is why Hochul, filled with crippling fear, is trying to militarize the National Guard in her state's largest metropolitan area to try to deter one from happening. Calling in the National Guard for civil disturbance doesn't make sense, Zero Hedge further noted. This also suggests that whatever threat has spooked New York City and New York City officials could be much greater than the NYPD can handle. Right, so it could very well be that, could be a terrorist attack, or it could just deal with the sheer number of migrants, you know, and the sheer amount of crime that they're doing. A lot of them are coming in with cars that are unmarked, you know. A lot of these guys are, you know, criminals and gang lords. So, you know, it's rough, you know. It could be related to Iran and possible upsurge attack vectors during the U.S. presidential election. You know, it should be noted that when Donald Trump was president, bringing the National Guard to America's dangerous cities to do a Black Lives Matter looting, he was accused of being a dictator. It's also dictator for doing what she is doing. What do you think? Will there be another 9/11 style event that occurs in New York City, right, and so on and so forth, right? So absolutely, there will be another terrorist attack inside New York City. You know, it's only a matter of time. You got all these people, you got all these military-aged men within the country. It's only a matter of time before, it all goes down. So this is the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. This is 16. This is 10. This is 12. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. Okay. Verse 12, Revelation 12. Verse 10. Hear loud voice in heaven saying, "Now has come salvation and strength of our power, the power of His Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down. We're cursed before God day and night." Right? And that's what the accuser of our brethren, the so-called white man, does. Makes our people go off, and then he goes and prays. The Most High was like, "Hey, look at these people. They're all wicked. They're all going on." But meanwhile, every problem that goes on within the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American community has been engineered by so-called white men. It all came from them. The rap music that they constantly, push out. Every other type of music they don't push out, because our people do make music besides rap. They make jazz to this day. Our people make rock and roll, make heavy metal. Our people, this whole movement, the whole truth movement thing, where brothers are like making, music, worshiping the Most High, which I haven't really listened to a whole lot of it. And I'm not, because a lot of it they say the wrong names. They say like Yahushua and these other camps. I've heard some that use Yahweh and Yahushua, and this is pretty good. I even heard one. I was watching other parts of Tahar's channel, and I was looking through his created playlist. He made a playlist and he made it public. So, I do that on a lot of brothers' channels. Like if I find a GMS page as like an elder, I'll check out their created playlist, and I'll like watch the whole thing, and check it out. He had a video of dude that like Jake was making heavy metal, straight up heavy metal, but with the truth. This leaven it came them by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of the testimony. Eyes unto the death, right? And that's what we got to be in. We got to be in that spirit. That's the elect. They love not their lives unto the death. We're here on earth. We all work. We all have jobs. We all take care of ourselves. If you have a family, we all take care of our families, and so on and so forth. My sign went flying, and that's embarrassing. I try not to let that happen, because you're not supposed to be, when you wear the garment, you're camping. You're not supposed to be walking all around with the garment on. Actually, I'll say like if you say this flew across the street, I'll take the garment off and then get my sign. You don't want to run with it on. It's pretty. You're not supposed to. This is for camping. This isn't to show. You don't walk around the street. Alright. So we're gonna go back into it. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12. Now it's only windy today, so just because it's windy, it's not an excuse to not teach. Just because it's cold, it's not an excuse to not teach. You're supposed to teach when it's cold, when it's raining. Well, if it's like light rain and you could, put on an umbrella. When the rain gets so heavy that it's like going like over your umbrella, just wetting everything, and it's just a flood, obviously not. 12, verse 12, I overcame by the blood of the Lamb, right? Who's that him? Accused of our brethren, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, by the blood of the Lamb, How shall death were the testimony of the scriptures rise to the death. As I said before, you gotta have a balance. We all work here. We all have jobs. We all make money. We all like to make money. But we're not supposed to be focused on loving our lives and trying to have a bunch of careers. Before I came into the truth, I wanted to be a scientist. I was studying to be a scientist. I was working on study and stuff in college. I was working with professors and whatever, and that was like my whole thing. And then when I came to the truth, although I started to finish school because my parents started to kick me out, but if they weren't like that, I would have dropped out. But after I finished with all that, I said that I'm gonna put that whole scientist thing on the side. What am I doing? If I do science, basic job. I'm not gonna do a job where I have to travel around or put in so much time and effort into the job that I can't teach the scriptures. Right now I'm just focusing on working some basic jobs. Working simple jobs. That's going to take me away from the truth. Verse 12. That's how you not love your God. Just focus on the scriptures. And you make time for the scriptures. During the Shabbat. I've been doing I came in during the Saturday sundown, Saturday sundown. So there's nothing to really do. So there's no work. Like the four rejoicing. All to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, the devils come down unto you. I agree with that because you know that you have but a short time. Exactly. And that's why those devils working real quick. Once he has but a short time with power. Time is moving quick. That's why they're moving in all these troops into the subway stations. Even on my way here, I saw troops. I didn't see National Guard troops yet, but there's photos of them around, and they're carrying around like ARs and stuff like that. So they definitely are out there. Let me move my tripod closer in. You want to be close to the wall with these people. There are National Guard troops out there. There's pictures of them on these different news articles and news sites. But that's what's going down. Something big is coming. It's next one on the way. 2 Timothy. I'll be sure to write my notes today. I wrote these notes today. Here you can copy them if you want to see them. Just write. Copy those down if you want to have them for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm a small kid, so there's nothing wrong with sharing the notes out. If you want it, it's yours. 2 Timothy 3. Not Timothy's. There's no book of Timothy's. 2 Timothy. So this is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. This know also in the last days, perilous times shall come. Right, so in these last days that we're coming into, perilous times are coming. These troops is just another sign of it. Just another sign of these perilous times coming. Perilous just means full of danger, full of peril. Okay? Next one I want to get is Ephesians 5 and 16, which I went into this the other day. That's long. It's Philemon. I can't exactly remember where Ephesians is. It's Timothy. It's Thessalonians. There we go. Damn, it's cold. This is the book book of Ephesians, chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5. Verse 15. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Circumspect means to be watching around, looking around. And how do you look around? You gotta go into these news. I try to get into the news. I try to get into it every day, but some days, I don't really get into the news. Whatever, time I have, I'll just get into some scriptures. Like I've been reading the book of Luke. I think I'm at chapter 10, 11, or 12, somewhere in that range. When I read it again, I'll pick up and get back to where I was. I've been focused on the news a lot lately, just because so much stuff has started to come down during the Shabbat and this new moon. Which, the new moon is today, well, it ends today. But you gotta walk circumspectly. You gotta behave in a circumspect action. You want to walk, in a right frame of mind. Verse 16, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Right? Redeeming the time means you gotta be using the time. These things only coming more and more apparent. The people are not gonna know what to do. Like I think it may be in Hosea. Then you shall know a prophet has been among you. Then it's gonna be revealed. That a prophet's been among you. Someone was screaming, a lot of crazy people out here. Let me make sure this is not gonna move, because sometimes it does. Right? Verse 17, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. Exactly, the will of the Most High, alright, is that you come out and you teach. If you're able to, you don't got to know every little detail about every little thing, but you got to learn these scriptures, and then you got to go out there and you have to teach the people. You don't be like an influencer. Sean Strickland exposes influencers. These guys all think that they're gods. You don't come out here just to look for views or to fight with people. I'm not trying to fight with nobody. I'm just here to bring out the scriptures to my people. Put in my work for my people, and that's it. So-called white man puts in work for his people. So-called Arab man puts in work for his people, and I'm putting in work for my people. And the way I'm putting in that work is by going to the scriptures. That police car has been abandoned for 30 minutes. I'm pretty sure they have the right to convict me from this area. Tell me to kick rocks. I do think there's a security camera to my right, if I'm correct. Because sometimes security cameras can be like cone shaped. They removed it. I thought there was a security camera right over there, but never mind. This is book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1. Remember now that Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Right? Now, remember now the Creator in thy youth. That means while you're young in this truth. It doesn't necessarily have to mean while you're young in general. A lot of us didn't have the opportunity to be young and join the truth. And I want to say I joined and started following Great Millstone, I think when I was about 19 or I want to say either 19 or 20. I think I made 19. ended when I turned 20, and I didn't celebrate my birthday at all, of course, right, when I got into GMS. When I was with these other camps, I still celebrated holidays, you know, and I was listening to them, and they said, oh, don't be over righteous or whatever. As I grew more in the spirit, you know, I started celebrating all these holidays, you know, moved away from all of them, did my research, you know, and then kind of learned and grew over time, and you know, I started making my own videos. It was a period of time, a long time, a lot of months. That guy can really move up. You didn't have to just sit there in the middle of the street like that. But you know, I took a lot of time to, you know, learn and watch, read, you know, and then I started teaching myself. You know, let's read that again. Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember, I created the days that I use, while the evil days come nigh, and the years draw nigh, when I shall say I have no pleasure in them. All right, so start getting into these scriptures now, man. Right now. You know, don't play any games. You know, start getting into these precepts. You know, go look at the GMS homework. You know, you got GMS bookworm. You got all these brothers out here teaching now, and all these brothers doing different videos. And they're going into all kinds of different breakdowns and stuff like that. You got the camps. You got so many brothers in so many different camps. You know, you got brothers all over the place. You got brothers, I think there may be one out there, I think he may be at Cubans or something. You got me here in Midtown. And I don't know where he is exactly, but he's at some park. You got brothers out there, they're at a park. You know, further uptown. You have the main camp, the GMS main camp, New York camp. They're further uptown. I'm not going to tell you exactly where they are. You can go find it. They're easy to find if you're from here. You know? Verse 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars will not darken, or the clouds return after the rain. Right? It's going to happen. You know, in those days. When these dark days come. Right? Verse 3, the day when the king of the house shall tremble, the strong men shall bow themselves, and the ground to cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. Alright, and that means these jobs are going to start going away. Hell, even the migrants, a lot of migrants have actually started to go back to Port Authority and leave the country. Why? Because there's no work. You know, a lot of them, as I said before, they live in these shelter buildings. And the shelter buildings are all a revolving door basis because there's just not enough space. They can't permanently house people. You know, so all these shelters where these migrants stay at, they only work on like a 30-day basis. They come in 30 days and then they leave. You know, the hotels, I think, run the same way. They have the migrants in 30 days and then they move them someplace else. But then there's no work for them. So a lot of them just go to work at Home Depot. And then, you know, they find work if they can. Typically, they don't. And so what do? They start to go back. So even right now, as we speak, there's a lack of jobs. It's only going to get worse in the city. You know it's bad when people, you know, even the migrants can't find work. Then you know it's bad. You know? But, you know, there's work, though. There's places where they could go, but they didn't come here legally. You know, they don't have a GED or a diploma or anything like that. You know, so they're asked out. You know, they can't work certain jobs, and they don't even have housing. So, you know, they could get housing and stuff like that, but they're just going to constantly be moved around. And even with these housing, I don't know if they started it, but with certain of these shelters, because these migrants are out here, you know, at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. committing crimes, you know, like, you know, people getting assaulted and getting beat up, you know, and stuff like that. They starting to have, you know, curfews, you know, for a lot of these migrants. So they can only leave at like 11 a.m. and they got to come back by like 6 p.m., which then they can't work gig work, you know. So it's just a whole big mess in the issue that the city is going through. And that's, we can just go into it because the Spirit is leading me to Isaiah 19. They're not going to be able to succeed with this country. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19. And We go to like 16. We go to 16. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 16. Actually, let's start with 15. Not should be any work for each which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. Right? And as I said before, it's already starting. A lot of these migrants going back home because they can't find work, because there's no work for them to engage in. You know? A lot of these migrants, they have no work to engage to, so they go back home. They have to work and get these random jobs at Home Depot and things like that. Right? And in that day, shall Egypt be like unto woman, shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the Lord, shake of the hand of the Lord of hosts, as he shaketh over you. Absolutely. You know, and that's us. We're shaking the hand over this place. We're rebuking this place heavy. You know, we're going into and digging up their dirt. And shameful scorn shall be upon their glory. Right? And actually, I should start ahead. Verse 14. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 14. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. Come Egypt to the air, and every word thereof as a drunken man stagger from his vomit. I know that America is the Egypt that's being talked about. So it talks about, you know, over the Egyptians are put over a cruel pharaoh. And that's these presidents. These presidents are the cruel pharaoh. You know, even as we look online, they break the laws. You know, look at these executive orders that they have. Or Executive Order 10-999. That one says the government can, you know, pretty much take over the agricultural sector. You know, there's all kinds of executive orders where they can just, you know, take over, you know, the agricultural sector. There's executive orders where the government can organize citizens into work brigades. There's executive orders where the government can put people into, you know, FEMA camps, you know, and detain people. You know, there's executive orders where, you know, the government and these troops, they can override posse comitatus, you know, which is pretty much, you know, posse comitatus is when you pretty much sent, you pretty much don't allow the police and the military to work together. Because that's what America was originally supposed to, you know, be like. It was supposed to be this so-called free nation. It's never free for us. You know, it's supposed to be free for the so-called white man. Esau, Edom, right? It wasn't created for our benefit. It's for their own benefit. But, you know, it was originally created because back then, when America was first founded, the police were all militias. You know, they were all, you know, volunteer troops. You know, and they were supposed to pretty much keep, you know, the federal government and the local police force from joining together and oppressing the people. But there's executive orders and things that are going to come out where they're going to override that. They already have during World War II, where the Japanese internment camps, where they pretty much threw everyone in there, Koreans, Chinese, everyone, you know, into these different camps. And that was an override of that. You know, so martial law is something that's always happened in this country. You know, it's happened across this country's run. Right? So Isaiah 19:14. Love me with the spirit and the midst thereof, they have caused me to err and every work thereof as a drunken man staggered from his body. And it's America, this country, you know, focusing on New York City today, they can't handle nothing. You know? They give the migrants credit cards. But then they have an honor system where they promise they're not going to use it to like buy pets and use it for useless stuff. And then a lot of the migrants, what they're doing is just taking the money. You know, and they're figuring out ways to send the stuff back home. You know, maybe not with a credit card. I know that the gig work to send the stuff back home. But they're giving you these credit cards. They're using them for all these different things. And I know I've seen migrants like that's Jake for you. You could actually use the money to like buy food, but instead they buy a dog, which is, you know, silly. You know, they're supposed to only use them at grocery stores. But then the problem is that, you know, these migrants, they don't have, you know, they don't have cooking appliances within these hotels they've been given. You know, so the migrants, they're given these credit cards. They can't cook inside the hotels where they're being given. So then, you know, it just kind of cancels itself out. So then the credit card is effectively useless. So no matter what our government tries to do, to try to fix this whole fix this migrant issue, they can't do it. They just, whatever they do, they just make it worse. It's doing it on purpose. Right now, there shall be any work for Egypt was to head the tail, grant to rush may do. Right? Which already went into is a lack of jobs. And that day shall Egypt be like unto woman, they shall be afraid of fear, because the shaking of the land shaking of the hand of little hosts will be shaken over. Right? And that womanly spirit is bent on this place heavy. And it's happening before Jacob's trouble. This is all happening before Jacob's trouble, because the shaking of the land of shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts occurred before Jacob's trouble, because we're doing it right now as we speak, and we're obviously not in Jacob's trouble. We're kind of seeing things escalate, more and more till we're going to lead to that point. There's already been like almost a damn near civil war going over the migrant issue, which it's a big ticket issue. It's a big issue. So it makes sense. Different states saying, hey man, this is bullshit. We're not gonna, I think they're trying to send National Guard troops and pretty much keep them the hell out. Because they're coming in, they're bringing crime, they're flooding the areas and the resources and everything, and it's making the cities, overcrowded. At least I noticed over here in down in Brooklyn, during like around the kind of like the Broadway area, it's full of them. You can't even walk on the street sometimes. They just pull up and they take over. And then there's like all these different shelters and buildings where they hand out food, and then they pile in and they take up the entire streets. There's nothing wrong with them getting fed or whatever, but I'm just saying it leads to overcrowding of the cities. It's too many people. We're gonna get into it. Get to some more stuff. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, verse we go to verse 5. The first part is talking more about the when the Lord visits this place. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, verse 5. O Assyrian, the rod of my anger, and the staff in their hand is in mine indignation. Right? O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, because these other nations, they use as the rod of the Lord's anger. They use as a tool, a whipping stick, as brothers, like to call it. And the modern day Assyrian is America. Syria back then was a very tough and powerful nation. Even in, I believe Assyria was still ruling during the book of Tobit. I might be wrong, but they were just killing our people left and right. And they're all over the place. And America's the modern day Assyrian, because they've kind of taken up that role over the global stage. That's kind of been unraveled by Russia, because of America's just blind, loyalty to Israel, which is really all about money. It's not about loyalty or anything. It's all about money. About APAC and all that stuff, and them keeping the money. It's about the politicians keeping the money. That's what the politicians do. Their main job as politicians is to, one, keep themselves in power, which they would be removed from power if they ever, spoke the truth. And it's also to not mess with the money, because they need the money for candidates. Right? This is the book of Isaiah 10 and 6. Now set up against a hypocritical nation, which is us, against the people of my wrath. I give them a charge to take the spoil and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. And that's what's going on. That's what's going to happen. People are going to be tread down like the mire of the streets. And these rod of the Lord's indignation of these different police groups you see in the National Guard coming out here, these different troops, eventually they're going to be turned on the American citizens. You know, police officers are going to start shooting at, you know, your everyday Joe and Jane. They're going to be rounding people up, you know, putting people in you know, vans and taking them to these FEMA camps. You know that martial law comes down. There's going to be curfews, you know. Because remember, a part of the elite's plan is depopulation. So they're going to grab people at random, man. So don't think that, oh man, I'm not going to get in the truth because I don't want to be dragged away to a FEMA camp. Well, that's not going to help. Yeah, even if you probably bought something online, they'll probably grab you. You know? So don't think that you're going to be safe just because, you know, you quit the truth. You know, especially if you're going to get judged. You know? That's the way the side works. Carries judgment. You know? It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15, verse 1. Thus saith the Lord unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind cannot be toward this people. Cast them out of my sight, let them go forth. Exactly. So the Lord wasn't dealing with our people no more. You know, Moses and Samuel represents, you know, pretty much the judges and the prophets. You know, which Moses would be like the judges, really the kings and the prophets. Never mind. The scriptures talk about that. They say he was first called the king in what was it, Hebron, I think. You know, so Moses was king. You know, and you know, Samuel represents the prophets. You know that when Samuel was around, he was a judge, but he was also a prophet. He was real heavy. I remember Samuel's backstory. You know about I think his parents was Elkanah. They pretty much gave him, you know, which just shows you how far we've fallen as a people. Because we used to do things like that. We used to, you know, have our children give them to the Lord, and have them, just be about the scriptures and be about the Most High. You know, which of course, you know, Samuel was a Levi. You know, but I'm just making a point, you know, that we used to have things like that. You know. Verse 2, it shall come to pass that they shall say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Thou shalt tell them, saith the Lord, such is for the deaf, to death, such is for the sword, to the sword, such is for the famine, to the famine, and such is for the captivity, Exactly. So the Most High is just, you know, he's going to cast away our people. You know, 2/3 are going to be cast away. We're all cast away, right? Because Joel 2 talks about that. I'll bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. We're all cast away as a people, but the elect, they returned back. You know, myself, we came back. You know, we didn't just, you know, totally quit. You know, like the whole prodigal son account that's supposed to represent us. We didn't just turn back. We didn't just, you know, quit and just stay in the world. We came back. You know, get back into the scriptures. Right, we start being the ways of the world. Point over them 4 kinds, saith the Lord, the sword to slay, the dog to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. Exactly. And that's what happened. You know, that's what's gonna happen. It's not. That's what's gonna happen. You know, these different troops are gonna come out and they're gonna go round up people up, and that's why you've seen them. Just these different troops on the stations now with their ARs, which that's really nothing new. I've seen them in back in Puerto. I've seen them in Puerto. Take a bus upstate to school, whatever. You know, and I would have to come back. You know, and I would see these troops, these federal National Guard troops. They would be in Port Authority and they'd have machine guns and stuff like that. So stuff like that is nothing new, and it's only the beginning. You know, rounding people up, they're gunning people down. You know, they're gonna be fighting different people out there in the streets. They're gonna round people up. If you have any guns, they're gonna round you up. You know, that's what America is running to. You know. And it's just going to go and get worse because the people, they're not going to stop the government. People aren't paying attention. You know? I'm going to keep it basic today. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 64, verse 1. Hear my voice, O God, my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Exactly, and that's what's going against us. There's a secret council, there's elite banking families that are against us, you know, and they're mobilizing these Edomites, the police force against us. Really, the police force in general, because these guys, these police officers, they don't think for themselves. They're just the same as soldiers. They just say, oh, I'm just following orders. You know, the orders that they're being told, they know it's wrong. It's fucked up. You know? They'll just say, oh, I'm just following orders. If you try to ask them a question, they won't answer you. They'll say, oh, I'm just following orders. You don't have any opinions. You don't speak up and say, hey, you know, this is kind of fucked up. You know, they're going to do it. They're going to do exactly what they're told because they run just like the military. They just get in the minds of these people and you just turn them into robots, essentially. Right? You whet their tongues at sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows in better words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Surely do they shoot at him and fear not. Right? And we're the perfect. You know? I'm not saying that we're perfect on this side. You know, but another word for perfect, when we go into like definitions, we go into like upright and stuff like that. We're the ones that are upright. Now we're the ones that are really trying to be upright. We're the ones that are out here trying our best. We're getting into these precepts. You know, we're not, you know, just all in the world and, you know, all about selling breakdowns and selling, you know, prayers like I see, you know, with the Sakari doing. They're selling Hebrew names, you know, which that's ridiculous. Even if you were in Sakari, it's ridiculous to buy a Hebrew name. Like, all you need to do is get a Hebrew alphabet, and then you need to just find a name that meets unto you. You know, maybe you don't pick a name immediately, but you just kind of read the scriptures and you'll find something that clicks with you. For me, it was Samson. I was reading Judges for GMS homework. Inspired me, you know, as I always go into, you know, background. I used to be a student athlete. And when I read that count, it really just meant, reviving me. You know, the power and the strength that he had. Right? Second Esdras. It's probably going to be around about the last thing I'm going to get. This is the book of Isaiah chapter, that's Isaiah, second Esdras chapter 14, verse 13. Now therefore set that house in order and reprove thy people, comfort such as them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. And how do we comfort our people? By bringing out the scriptures. You know, we don't comfort our people by running the soup kitchen. You know, we're not going to comfort our people by, you know, giving them stuff or, you know, making like a shelter or something, you know. We comfort our people by bringing out the scriptures. And the scriptures are going to them that are weary, rest with us. You know, and how do you rest? You rest through the scriptures. The scriptures are your rest. You know? Otherwise, depart from this place is not your rest. Like it talks about in Micah. It doesn't mean literally depart, it just means to depart in a spiritual sense. Depart from this place in your spirit. Don't have your whole mind in this place like everyone else. These people are all about having degrees and getting a PhD and whatever. You know, I used to be in that boat. You know, I used to be like, oh man, I'm gonna go get this a master's and a PhD. But then, you know, I got into scriptures, and you start to realize that one, America's falling apart. You can't fix the crime rates. You can't fix the economy. You can't fix anything. So what's the point of, you know, putting in all your eggs? And hell, America's gonna get nuked. 100%. America's gonna get nuked. So man, I'm just trying to do whatever I can, you know, to get myself to not get nuked. You know, I want to be the opposite of nuked. I want to be the opposite of dead. I want to be alive. I want to live forever, and I want to be happy. You know, I lived in this society. I've lived, you know, 20-something years. I've been miserable. You know, you have parents, and then they die. You know, I don't want to go through that shit. You know, you have, you know, you just go through, you know, torments and sufferings, you know, and pain. You know, we don't want to be here, right? Verse 15 says, the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and hasten to flee from these times. Exactly, you have to hasten the day. And you're not supposed to be waking up every day in this country just hoping, you know, America lasts forever. You're supposed to hasten, like it says here, it says the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and hasten to flee from these times. You're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to want these times to move by faster. You know, you're supposed to be happy when you see this country fall apart. You know, you're supposed to be happy to see this age and this time end. Right? Verse 16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen shall be done hereafter. Alright, so only greater evils are going to come to this place. You know, going to happen across the planet Earth. You know, terror attacks. You know, as we're seeing troops start to increase all across the subway system, which that's only going to make things worse elsewhere. If you move the police, you know, and you put them all on the train tracks, well, then you're going to take police off the streets. And statistics have actually shown when you increase police presence in the stations, when the police presence ends, crime actually goes up. So it's not going to do anything. It's only going to get worse. Right? Verse 17, for look how much the Lord shall be wickedly paid, so much more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. Right? Exactly. That's what's going down. You know, evils, as time goes on, only more and more evils are going to occur upon this place. You know, as you see, if you go on like Twitter, you know, I was kind of scrolling through. I like to subscribe to like a lot of truther pages, and even with them, they'll won't allow you to comment if a page doesn't go along, if a post doesn't go along with their terms of service or violates X's terms of service. They won't allow you to comment. They won't allow you to like. You know, and what Twitter is doing, that's only going to lead to YouTube doing the same thing. There's going to be no likes. They're going to take the comments off probably eventually. And eventually they're just going to take our videos straight up off the internet. You know, and that's going to be it for this truth. You know? So, I'm going to get ready to close off. I think I made my point. So I'm going to say, Kalayimla, Yehovah, Bashim, Yahushua, Bashim, Yahushua, that want us to the others and the apostles, a great millstone, GMS, to rule and teach well. Like I said before, I really mean that. I'm not just saying it and making up, you know, saying stuff just to be saying it. I really do mean it. I believe it. I really do follow the order. Shalom.